Welcome to Mimi's Kitchen. Well, y'all, it's been a beautiful day, and it's one of those teasers that we talk about. Well, it won't last forever, but hey, we go enjoy it while we have it. Now I want you to look at my daffodils that are blooming in my yard. Oh my goodness, I get so excited when I see those because I know, and I'm not rushing it, but spring is peeping around the corner. So it's gonna be a while. Y'all, today we are going to make sugar cookies. Now this is a family favorite. Everybody loves these. I made this in an earlier video over a year ago, but I just thought we would revisit it today because it's one of those cookies that is good for any time of year. So if you have my cookbook, turn to page 109. And y'all, I use this cookbook too because I don't have all this stuff memorized. But the sugar cookies I do, and some of my cookie recipes. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do, well, the first thing we go do is set this oven on 350 degrees. 350 degrees. All right. Now, the first, and y'all, I told you about these before, but I'm going to tell you again. These are the Crisco sticks. And y'all, they are wonderful because each stick is 1 cup. That's what this recipe calls for, 1 cup. So we're going to put that in there. So no measuring, no mess. Hey, I'm all for that. All right, and then the next thing we add is 1 cup of sugar. All right, we're going to mix these. And now you don't need to listen to all this racket, so I'm gonna turn the mix on and then I'll be back in a minute. All right, now I beat that for just about a minute. Y'all, you don't need to beat it to death, just until those are incorporated with one another and they are acquainted. Now the next thing we're gonna add is 1 egg. And that egg was at room temperature. So we're going to mix that. All right, now I have already measured out 3 cups of self-rising flour. And I am just going to put this in here. If I can do this without making a mess, KK.
Okay, I'll hold this.
I'll remind you, just like I do with the cake, y'all don't start this mixer here at full blast. If you do, you'll have a big old white cloud. So we're going to start it very slowly and let it start mixing all of that together. Okay, y'all. Now I want to tell you something. We're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Now when you look in that recipe book on page 109, it's going to say 1 teaspoon. Well, y'all, we worked so hard on that cookbook to make sure we didn't have any errors in it. And actually, that's not an error, it's just an omission. So that 1 teaspoon is supposed to be a teaspoon of vanilla. And you know I don't measure. That's a teaspoon. Mimi's. All right, we just go. Okay, y'all, this is a really stiff dough. Now, see that? It kind of looks crumbly. But let me show you something. If you take it up by a handful, and my hands are clean, by the way, see, you can kind of press it together, and it just kind of makes a ball. So we are going to show you. Now, ordinarily, I don't roll these cookies out, but KK helps me make decisions about what we'll be showing and what we'll be doing. And she suggested that we try to roll them out and cut them in the shape of Valentine's. So I thought, well, we'll try that. So we're going to try it today. Okay, now we're going to roll this out. And y'all, this is parchment paper. It comes in a box like this. It's already pre-cut. You know how I am about convenience. And it just makes life easy. Hey, that's what it does. It makes life easy. And we're all for easy. All right, now kind of just kind of feel it and make sure about the thickness, and you'll see when we start cutting it what that thickness really is. All right, KK, hand me the pan over there. All right, this is our baking sheet. Now y'all, this is trial and error. Okay. Woo, that's pretty. Oh,
yeah.
y'all look.
I love it.
Isn't that pretty? All right. Let's see if we can get as many of these as we can out of this dough. All right, y'all see the thickness? That's just about how thick you want that. All right. Y'all, these are just downright pretty. All right, let's see. Oh, that one's stuck in there. Okay. Okay, we're gonna sprinkle some red sugar on these. And y'all kind of be careful because this stuff comes out pretty fast. You'll end up with a really red cookie. So just kind of gently shake it. Now, if you want your grandchildren or your children to help with this, of course it won't matter with them how many sprinkles is on it. They can just cover the whole top if they want to. Okay, now I'm going to show you the way that I normally make these cookies when I don't roll them out. And what we do is we take, and y'all, that's about the size. That's bigger than a walnut, but not as big as a golf ball. All right. And by the way, I would let you know one thing. This is Santa's favorite cookie. All right, y'all, this is a little nostalgia here. You know, I showed you those things that are, those goblets that Arby's gave away. Well, believe it or not, McDonald's had their own series, and this is called Camp Snoopy Collection. And y'all look at that, isn't it cute? It said the struggle for security is no picnic. All right, this is how I normally do my sugar cookies. I dip the glass in sugar, and then we press them out.
To that thickness you were showing.
Yeah, just to the same thickness that we did with the hearts. Now normally, I would sprinkle these with regular sugar. I just like that extra sugar on them. But I'm gonna tell you, since tomorrow is Valentine's, let's put some red sugar on them. Okay. Okay, now oven is on 350. Y'all, the reason I say that, I don't care how many times I say it, somebody still go ask me, now what temperature did you cook that on? So 350 degrees. All right, we're gonna put these right here in the oven. Stick them in there good. And then I'm gonna set my timer on 10 minutes. Now you don't want these cookies to overbake because they'll be real crispy. And you want them just a little bit chewy, I guess you would say. So 10 minutes is usually plenty. And they just need to be brown around the edges. Not all over the cookie, just the edge of the cookie. So in 10 minutes, we'll go check these. Okay, y'all. Now, we're going to leave these right here and let them cool. What I did want to tell you is, you see how many we have here. Well, there's enough dough now to make this many again. So these have already cooled. There's some I made earlier as a test run. So I just want to kind of show you how they break. See, that's kind of a soft cookie. We'll put that back together. Now, the reason Kayleen likes this recipe so good is she's actually the one that got this recipe for me. When she was a little girl, she had a friend, and she'd go home with her quite often, and the grandmother kept her friend. And so they would always make sugar cookies. Well, her name was Miss Genevieve, and so Kayleen remembers pressing with a glass those cookies and making them, and Miss Genevieve told her, she says, now don't eat that raw dough. It'll give you worms. I'm not quite sure that's exactly right, but nevertheless, it worked because she didn't eat the raw dough, and I don't eat the raw dough either, but these really taste really good, and y'all, they just you saw how easy it was to make them. These are second only to my chocolate chip cookies. Now, I've made a lot of these, but not near as many as those chocolate chip cookies. So y'all, I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. Valentine's Day. Do something special for somebody. Somebody that's shut in or somebody that's alone. Oh, y'all, this would just be a wonderful thing, just to take them just a little bag of cookies. And I will show you, yes, I did make, speaking of chocolate chip, this is what I gave my grandchildren yesterday when they came for lunch, was a bag of chocolate chip cookies. And so that would make just a nice little something to just take to somebody that's shut in, just to let them know that you're thinking about them and that they're not forgotten. So have a wonderful day and have a wonderful rest of the week. Oh, y'all, it's a beautiful time of year. Everything's just beginning to kind of pop out of the ground, and we just have hope this spring is around the corner. Oh, goodness, we look forward to that. And everybody remember, shine for Jesus.